With thousands of options out there, why would a man choose to pursue you above all others? It may sound impossible, but if you do these 4 things, he won't just choose you, he'll fall madly in love with you. I'm Vernon. Today I'll reveal 4 things you can do just once that make a man choose you. Not out of pressure or manipulation, but out of genuine devotion. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. This content is specifically created to help you navigate love, intimacy, and deep connection in this magnificent season of your life. Because the best relationships often begin when we stop trying so hard and start being authentically powerful. So let's get started. And the first shift is about looking deeper beyond what most women notice at the surface. Number 1. See the man behind the mask. The greatest gift you can give another human being is to truly see them, Maya Angelou once said. And this truth becomes even more powerful in romantic relationships. Most women focus on what a man does, his job, his achievements, his status. But here's what I've learned. Men are desperately hungry to be seen for who they truly are behind all the performance. From childhood, we're taught to be strong, successful, unshakable. We spend our entire lives wearing masks, and most people never bothered to look underneath. But when you see the man behind the mask, just once, something shifts permanently in his heart. What does this look like? It's noticing when he's tired but still trying to be strong for everyone else. It's acknowledging the small kindnesses he shows that others take for granted. It's recognizing the vulnerability he hides behind his confidence, or the dreams he's afraid to voice because he thinks they're too late or too foolish. My cousin Alma, who's 62 and recently found love again, she was having coffee with a man she'd been dating for a few weeks when she noticed something. He was telling her about his day, the usual surface-level conversation, but she saw the exhaustion in his eyes, the way his shoulders carried invisible weight. Instead of nodding along, she gently said, "I see how hard you try, even when no one notices. That takes real strength." He stopped mid-sentence and stared at her. Later, he told her it was the exact moment he knew she was different from every other woman he'd ever met. Not because she complimented him, but because she truly saw him. The real him, not the version he thought he needed to present to win her approval. This isn't about becoming his therapist or fixing his problems. It's about recognition, acknowledging the human being underneath the performance. When you see past his achievements to his character, past his confidence to his heart, past his strength to his gentleness, you create an emotional imprint that he'll never forget. Most women are so focused on being seen themselves that they miss this crucial opportunity. They're worried about looking perfect, saying the right thing, being impressive enough. But the woman who steps back from her own performance long enough to truly witness his humanity, she becomes irreplaceable. You don't need to be the most gorgeous woman in the room to do this. You don't need to be the youngest or the most accomplished. Seeing someone deeply requires wisdom, emotional intelligence, and presence, qualities that often deepen with age and experience, the very qualities you possess right now. When you see a man's true self and acknowledge it without judgment, you're not just complimenting him. You're offering him something rare and precious, the gift of being known. And once a man feels truly seen by you, he'll spend his life trying to be worthy of that recognition.
But seeing him isn't enough. What captures his heart next is the way you make him feel safe to be that authentic self.
Number 2, give him permission to be vulnerable. In our culture, men learn early that vulnerability equals weakness. They're taught to suppress emotions, to soldier on, to never let anyone see them struggle. By the time they reach adulthood, most men have built fortress walls around their hearts, not to keep love out, but to keep pain at bay. When a woman creates a space so safe that a man can let those walls down without fear of judgment or rejection. Vulnerability is not weakness, as Brené Brown reminds us in her research on human connection. It's our most accurate measure of courage. When you give a man permission to be vulnerable with you, you're not just accepting his weakness, you're honoring his courage. This doesn't mean becoming his emotional dumping ground or trying to fix his problems. It means creating an atmosphere where he knows his fears, his disappointments, his uncertainties won't be used against him later, where his moments of doubt don't make him less of a man in your eyes. He could be worried about his grown children making poor choices, burdened by anxiety about retirement or health concerns, or quietly grieving the dreams he never pursued. Most women, when faced with a man's vulnerability, either try to solve it immediately or become uncomfortable with the emotional weight. But the woman who can simply hold space, who can listen without judgment and respond with compassion rather than advice, she becomes his emotional sanctuary. I've watched this transformation happen countless times. A man will test the waters first, sharing something small, something not too threatening. If she responds with criticism, disappointment, or immediately tries to fix him, he retreats back behind his walls. But if she responds with understanding, with acceptance, with love for his humanity rather than his perfection, something magical happens. He begins to trust her with deeper parts of himself. This is why some relationships feel surface level, while others create profound intimacy. It's not about how much time you spend together or how many experiences you share. It's about emotional safety. When a man knows he can be imperfect with you, when he can admit his fears, share his struggles, express his uncertainties, and still be loved and respected, you become irreplaceable in his life. The irony is that many women think men want someone who makes them feel strong and successful all the time. But what men truly crave is someone who loves them even when they're not at their best. Someone who sees their struggles as human rather than failures as men. Think about this. When in your life have you felt most loved? Probably not during your greatest triumphs, but during your most vulnerable moments, when someone saw your imperfections and chose to stay anyway. Men are no different. Have you ever experienced the power of creating emotional safety for someone you loved? How did it change your relationship? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. And when he feels safe to be vulnerable with you, what inspires him most deeply is how you see not just who he is, but who he could become.
Number 3. Reflect his highest potential. Men fall in love with beauty, but they choose the woman who inspires them to become their best self. There's something profoundly attractive about someone who sees greatness in you that you haven't even discovered yet. This isn't about flattery or false praise. This is about having the vision to see someone's untapped potential and the wisdom to reflect it back to them in a way that ignites their own belief in themselves. It's about seeing not just who they are, but who they could become.
My neighbor, Adela, 58, has taught me so much about this principle. She was dating a man who worked in middle management, someone most people saw as pleasant but unremarkable. During their conversations, she noticed how thoughtfully he mentored younger colleagues, how naturally people came to him for advice. Instead of just acknowledging his kindness, she said something that changed everything. "I believe you'd be an incredible leadership coach. You have this gift for seeing people's strengths and helping them grow." He was quiet for a long moment, then told her that no one had ever seen that possibility in him before. That single observation planted a seed that grew into action. Within a year, he had started a consulting practice helping small businesses develop their teams. But more importantly, he later told her her ability to see his potential was the moment he knew she wasn't just someone to spend time with. She was someone who could help him become the man he was meant to be. This is the difference between women men date and women men choose to build a life with. Anyone can appreciate what already exists, but the woman who can see dormant gifts, untapped talents, unrealized dreams, and reflect those possibilities back with genuine belief, she becomes invaluable. Maybe you see his natural ability to make people laugh and suggest he be wonderful at public speaking. Maybe you notice his patience with difficult people and reflect back his gift for diplomacy. Maybe you recognize his creative problem solving and suggest he has an entrepreneurial spirit waiting to emerge. The key is authenticity. This isn't about inflating his ego or making up qualities that don't exist. It's about having the emotional intelligence and life experience to recognize seeds of greatness that others miss. At your age, you've had decades to observe people, to understand human nature, to recognize potential even when it's buried under fear or habit. When you reflect a man's highest potential, you're not just complimenting him, you're giving him a vision of himself that's both inspiring and achievable. You're saying, "I see greatness in you that's worth developing." And when someone believes in our potential that strongly, we start believing in it ourselves. Most people focus on what's wrong with others or what needs fixing. But the woman who consistently sees and acknowledges what's right, what's possible, what's emerging, she becomes associated with hope, growth, and possibility. She becomes someone he wants to become his best self for, not someone he needs to hide his flaws from. The way we see people is the way we treat them, and the way we treat them is what they become. Johann Wolfgang Goethe understood this centuries ago. But even inspiration fades if one essential element is missing. Number 4, love him without losing yourself. The more you lose yourself to love someone, the less attractive you become to them. But the woman who can love deeply while maintaining her own identity, her own interests, her own sense of self, she becomes irresistible precisely because she remains whole. This is perhaps the most crucial quality of all, and it's where your maturity becomes your greatest asset. By this stage of life, you've likely learned who you are, independent of any relationship. You have your own friendships, interests, values, and dreams. You've survived challenges that have strengthened your sense of self. This self-knowledge is incredibly attractive to a mature man who's looking for a partner, not a project. Relationship expert Esther Perel reminds us, and this wisdom becomes even more important as we age. The best relationships are between two whole people who choose to share their completeness with each other. What does this look like practically? It means maintaining your friendships even when you're in love. It means continuing to pursue your interests, hobbies, and passions. It means having opinions that might differ from his and feeling comfortable expressing them. It means being supportive without becoming a doormat, being loving without becoming dependent. I've observed that men often say they want a woman who will revolve her life around them, but they actually lose respect for women who do exactly that. The woman who cancels her plans every time he calls, who adopts all his opinions, who has no life outside their relationship. She might seem appealing at first, but she quickly becomes suffocating rather than attractive. But the woman who says, "I'd love to see you tonight, but I promised my sister I'd help her with something. How about tomorrow?" She maintains her appeal because she maintains her boundaries. The woman who says, "I understand your perspective, and here's how I see it differently." She remains interesting because she remains herself. This doesn't mean being difficult or playing hard to get. It means being authentically yourself with all the richness of experience and wisdom you've accumulated. It means bringing your full self to the relationship rather than shrinking to fit what you think he wants. The irony is that when you love someone without losing yourself, you actually become more capable of deep love, not less. You're not loving from a place of neediness or emptiness, hoping he'll fill the gaps in your life. You're loving from a place of fullness, choosing to share your abundance rather than seeking to fill your lack. At your age, you have the gift of knowing who you are apart from any man. Use that gift. Let him see the woman who has her own thoughts, her own life, her own joy. Let him see that while you choose him, you don't need him to complete you, because you're already complete. This video contains wisdom that could transform someone's approach to love. Save it and share it with a friend who might need to hear these truths today. When you do even one of these things authentically, he knows that no one else can compare to the depth of understanding and love you offer.
Let me leave you with these 4 transformative actions. See the man behind the mask. Give him permission to be vulnerable. Reflect his highest potential and love him without losing yourself. The right man doesn't choose you because you try harder than other women. He doesn't choose you because you're more convenient or more accommodating. He chooses you because you touched something inside him that no one else reached. You made him feel seen, safe, inspired, and respected all at once. Love isn't about finding someone to complete you, as the saying goes. It's about finding someone who accepts you completely while inspiring you to become even more yourself. You don't need to be perfect to do these things. You don't need to be the youngest or the most beautiful woman in his orbit. You need to be authentically, powerfully yourself, bringing all the wisdom, emotional intelligence, and deep capacity for love that you've developed over a lifetime of experience. Do you have a story about using your authentic power to create deep connection? Or perhaps a question about maintaining your sense of self while opening your heart to love? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what another woman needs to embrace her own power today.
And remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on creating authentic, lasting love in this beautiful chapter of your life. Check the description for additional content that will speak directly to your heart and support your journey toward the love you deserve. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.